Hi everyone, it's Megan. I am the writer. Hi Nathan. I'm the resident writer, conjurer of words and stories for By the Soles of Our Feet. Nathan Singh has joined. He is our resident director, conjurer of cinematic images for our theater company, By the Soles of Our Feet. Happy St. Brigid's Day. Happy Imbolc. I think I'm saying that right. It's the Celtic festival that is starting tomorrow. So we are so happy to be with you today. We are going to do so many fun things today. We're going to celebrate St. Brigid's Day. We're going to talk about the inspiration behind our new work that we're going to share. Kristin, our company member, Kristin Condon, is going to be joining us in just a moment. And Sabina Zúñiga Varela as well. Hi, Sabina. Hello, Mom. And Kristin's going to read from our new work called St. Brigid and the Never Wife. It's in prose form right now, but Kristin is going to read a little bit from that, and then we are going to develop it into all sorts of forms. We're going to talk about that and our inspiration behind that, and we'll get started as soon as Kristin joins. Before she does that, if you guys have any questions or comments as we go along with our celebration, put them there in the comments, and we will get to them as soon as we can. So what's going to happen today is we're going to talk a little bit about who St. Brigid was, and then also what Imbolc is. And then we're going to do the reading. And then after that, you guys are going to be able to ask questions and make comments. And yeah, so before Kristin comes on, while we're waiting for Kristin to come on, I wanted to talk a little bit about St. Brigid. Like, why are we doing this on St. Brigid Day? So let me see if Kristin is joining. Do not see her. Yes, Nathan Singh. Fun fact, we are all USC alumni. Kristin, Sabina, Nathan, and I, By the Soles of Our Feet. If you're not following us already, go over and follow us after this live, but keep watching right now. So why are we doing this on St. Brigid's Day? Our St. Brigid is the patroness of Ireland. She is as equal, has an equal following, equal belovedness as St. Patrick in Ireland, but she's not as well known across the world. Today is her feast day. It is actually, hi Juliana, it is actually 1,500 years since she died. Can you believe that? It's been 1,500 years today. So I feel honored to celebrate her today. So, yes, and then tomorrow is Imbolc, which is the Celtic festival celebrating the goddess Brigid, who's pronounced Bríd, I believe. Hi, Kelly, my sister Kelly. All right, so St. Brigid, who was she? She was born around 450. Her mother was a Portuguese Christian who was taken as a slave by her father, who was a Irish chieftain. He was a pagan chieftain. So a chieftain was a leader of an Irish clan. And so Brigid was the daughter of a slave and basically a royal leader. And so she was a slave. She was considered a slave. And this was around the time when Christians and the indigenous Irish were intermixing. And she didn't want to be married off, so it would be financially profitable to be married, for the daughters to be married off. So she didn't want to be married off. She wanted to follow God. And so she ended up doing that. Her dad ended up letting her do that. Yes, Nathan, for those who have just joined our Instagram page down there. So she didn't. She was beautiful though, and she asked God to make her not beautiful so that she didn't have to be married. And so then she started. God granted her this wish. There was a bunch of really cool miracles. She turned bathwater into beer. She was known for her compassion. She was known for her generosity. She kept giving her dad was considered royalty, and she kept giving his stuff away to the poor. And so he was frustrated with her and was like, all right, go be a Christian. You can go do that. And she followed St. Patrick. So she was a contemporary of St. Patrick. And then after that, she was really fierce in spreading Christian faith. She was very proactive, which was unusual for saints. Usually the saints were kind of demure and passive and Nathan hashtag bathwater into beer for sure. So she was badass, really, but also very well known for just her wisdom. She's the patron saint of poetry, healing, and blacksmithing. And so she had some cool miracles, and she's known for creating the first unisex monastery in Kildare. And she was an abbess. She was one of the first abbess, which is the equivalent of a bishop. So she was awesome. And what's interesting is that the goddess Brig, she was based on the goddess Brig. So what was happening, the Catholics, in order to convert the indigenous Irish, really, they took, oh, there's Kristin. Hi, Kristin. So they took, here's Kristin. Okay. We'll get back to that. Hopefully, Kristin, can you come in? There you are. Oh my
Hi.
goodness. Hi, how are you? Happy St. Brigid's Day.
Happy St. Brigid's Day.
Nathan has a question. Do you recommend any books, documentaries, or other? There are so many. We'll put them in a highlight here. We'll put a St. Brigid's Day highlight on my page and then on the By the Soles of Our Feet page. There is the one thing that comes off the top of my head is one that I watched a few times last year. It's called Finding Brigid on the Irish national channel called RTE. You just go to RTE player on the internet and you watch it. It's the woman from Dairy Girls, the one who plays the nun
Dairy
on Dairy
Girls.
Girls. She hosts it. Siobhan something. I forget what her last name is, but it's great. It really goes through who Saint Brigid was, and then the pairing, the duality of her goddess and saintly self. Yeah. Hi, Kristin.
Hi, Megan.
So I was while we were waiting for you, I was just telling them a little bit about who Saint Brigid was.
Sorry, was I late? I was looking for the live. It wasn't showing up.
Oh,
for you.
yeah,
It wasn't showing up for a while.
Vamping about
So
Saint Brigid for about 7 minutes.
sorry that you were vamping.
Um,
You're good at it though.
it was great. I was just wondering because we both have Irish heritage. But you're
And I'm a
Irish
citizen.
citizen. Yeah,
No.
it's on your mother's side, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And did you know about St. Bridget? I was wondering, did you? Because I grew up knowing a little bit about her, but not knowing as much as amazing how amazing she was. But
Yeah, I didn't know a lot until you started diving in with this project. I
okay,
just knew about the goddess and the blending of, the Christianity taking on some of the Celtic traditions in order
right,
to create cohesion. I guess
right,
you could call it
yeah, and how
that, but
it was easier to convert the indigenous Irish to Catholicism if they just took their goddesses and gods and
traditions and
just made them into saints.
Mhm.
So the interesting thing, what I was continuing to say, the interesting thing was that Brigid is one of the few saints who actually retained many of the goddess qualities. So usually the Catholics would kind of change changed the gods and goddesses so much so that they weren't recognizable, but Brigid actually has almost all of her same goddess qualities. So there is the most interesting thing that I just found out recently, actually, because she's known as the patroness of fire and flame. Her name actually means fiery, like flame, fiery spirit. And the eternal flame of Brigid is kept in Kildare. It's been kept there. It was kept for 1,000 years after her death until King Henry and the Protestants, took it out. And then there was I was going to say a coven of nuns. I meant a group of nuns kept the flame alive after that. So it's still going on. Wow. The flame in Kildare is still alive. And so that plays a big part in our succubus story, which we're going to read today, the Brigid's flame and what that means. So that was a big part, and that's unusual in saints. I didn't know this, actually. I should, as a raised Catholic, that the fire is actually more of a pagan element, and that it's not normally used in terms of saints, which I've found strange, because fire and light is like flames and candles is kind of, I don't know, I was associated with the Holy Spirit in Catholicism, but I guess it's more of a pagan element. But Nathan says that makes sense, since a lot of our work is elemental. Yes, goddess of fire. So that's just something interesting. She's the patroness saint of healing, poetry, and blacksmithing. Blacksmithing was considered this like art of the gods, because you're kind of manipulating fire and earth to create something new. Nathan's comments are so funny. Sorry. Shout out to all the creative Catholics on here. And then, so that's St. Brigid's Day. She's pretty rad. She's very revered. This is the second year that she's actually been celebrated as a national bank holiday. She had her feast day, but last year, these incredible women petitioned and campaigned to get her a national holiday. So it's the second year. And so tomorrow is Imbolc. Do you know anything about Imbolc? What do you?
Yeah, it's the meeting point. I thought it was today, actually, but it's the meeting point. It's the midway point between the spring equinox and the winter solstice, right? So we're getting longer days. Hooray! Especially if you live in the Northeast.
About it. Yeah, usually falls. I thought it was tomorrow, but it usually falls in between. It usually falls on St. Brigid's Day. Like there's a blend, because the goddess and the saint are so intertwined, like we said. But it's the Celtic festival celebrating the goddess Bríd, and you're right, the transition from like the midway point between winter and springs, and
hibernation, darkness, starting to move towards light. So.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Fire again.
And you're supposed, yeah. And I didn't know this until recently. I should know this. The so much cool Celtic mythology that I've been learning, that there is a winter hag goddess named let me see if I'm pronouncing this right. Kalik. Have you heard of this? Kalik, who is she's a winter goddess. She's usually displayed as an old crone, and she's kind of scary looking. She's the embodiment of winter, and she moves and transforms into the beautiful flaming red hair goddess Bríd to then become spring. So it's like,
I shouldn't have dyed my hair blonde. I should have my red hair. Shoot.
Yeah. So she kind of gives off, she transitions into the spring, the winter hag into the beautiful spring goddess. So that's what they celebrate. They celebrate it with bannock, like these oat cakes, and then white candles as well, and milk. Imbolc actually means milk, like ewe's milk, because that's when ewes and sheep were becoming, birthing, and and so it's the Celtic festival that's blending with the Catholic honoring of St. Brigid, and water plays a big part. Something I didn't know. If you guys are fans of the podcast Otherworld, which is a paranormal podcast, I didn't know that the term otherworld for the contact between you know, the supernatural world comes from Irish lore, and that like the thin place, the place in between our world and the paranormal world, and the other side, the spiritual world. And they believed that the waters, like the healing waters, actually come from the other world. So water is in streams, certain sacred waters and streams are actually kind of the other world spilling into ours, which I thought was cool. So water, milk, earth, making St. Brigid's crosses, which I have a necklace of. Nice. If you can see right there, my St. Brigid's cross that my mom got in, I believe the, oh goodness, I'm forgetting now the name of the place. It's an abbey. You make crosses from straw. So right. It's St. Brigid took the cross, the Christian cross, and made it out of rushes, like, or straw.
Which you reference kind of it's in the story too. So this part that we're going to read.
Yes. So that's a little bit about the goddess and the saint. As you can tell, I'm very fascinated by this duality. And that's something I wanted us to think about through the reading. And then afterwards, when we talk about it, the thing that I'm focusing on now is the duality of the sacred and profane. Not that, obviously, you know, because a lot of the pagan and goddess material by Catholics or by other kind of outside sources view it as not profane, but as othered, you know, as this kind of fantastical, just not sacred kind of practice. And I wanted to ask, why can't, you know, what is sacredness to different people, you know, and the blending of what that means, and kind of redefining what sacred means.
Right. And like you can't have the light without the dark, and
right.
have the sacred without the profane. So
yeah,
it's both important.
Yeah. So do you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's read it, and then maybe there'll be questions.
Yeah. So
we can talk about what you're planning and what we're planning and we're hoping for.
So briefly, this is our new project called St. Brigid and the Neverwife. The first Halloween of the pandemic, we weren't going out, and I love Halloween, and I thought I would do the Mary Shelley challenge. So Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein, was a part of, in the 19th century, the early 1800s, she wrote a challenge. She challenged herself with her husband Percy Shelley and Byron and some other dude. They were stuck in a snowstorm or a storm in Geneva, and I think it was Byron or Shelley or somebody said, let's challenge ourselves to write the scariest story we ever can. So I did that. I took the Mary Shelley challenge, and I just came to me the idea of a succubus, which is a demon who takes the form of a female spirit to steal the soul of men during the sex act in seduction. They drain their soul when they kiss them, and they appear very, very, very beautifully. If you've seen that great movie, the Megan Fox movie, Jennifer's Body, that's about a succubus. Oh my gosh, you have to watch it, Kristin.
Okay.
It's hilarious. Diablo Cody wrote it. And so that's what I wrote, about a Irish American succubus in, but she's a human. So to give context, she's a human who has succubus qualities, and she's in Los Angeles, but she wants to become a Brigidine sister, because she's actually fascinated and drawn to Catholicism as well. So this is where our story happens. She has a younger sister named Femia, and Femia is trying to make her stop succubizing. Femia rejected the call of the succubus, and yeah, they have Irish heritage, and
this is when she's younger. This is like a flashback.
Yes. So the start of the story is that her sister is like, you need to stop succubizing, and she's like, well, I'm going to go to Kildare to meet St. Brigid, and I'm going to purify my soul, but I'm going to keep succubizing until I do that. And so then she's remembering and giving context of when she first had visions of St. Brigid. And just so you guys know, this is prose. I've never written prose before. I've never heard these pages aloud. So this is an exclusive that you guys are hearing. It's an exclusive piece. And Kristin is actually the only one who's read this piece. And this is very, very exciting. And feel very vulnerable right now, but I'm so excited for you guys to hear it. So it is a work in progress. So just so you know, work in progress. And we're going to talk a little bit about it afterwards. So it's a bit about 8 minutes long. So let's get started. I've never done this before. I'm going to hopefully mute myself and turn my video off. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let me try that. So this is Kristin Condon reading an excerpt from St. Brigid and the Neverwife.
When I was 12 and Femia was 9, we stayed a summer with our perpetually exasperated Aunt Catherine, Kitty, in Ireland. On the 23rd day of our stay, St. Brigid appeared to me on the shore of the Irish Sea, just outside Dublin. She emerged effulgent from the sand, and it fell off her, earth's glitter swooning. She held a single Celtic cross made of threshes, like in the Book of Saints I'd thumbed through since my first communion. Except this Brigid was in color. Her skin was plump and pink like the belly of a ewe. I felt a rush of sweet rain between my legs, and her cross caught on fire. She held it for some time, happy to see nature ablaze. But her smile faded as the fire leapt to her tunic, swallowed her before she could even scream, and became a cloud of ash wet in the salty sea air. This is when I first felt my left ovary burn, when I first learned that I had heat in me and that it could hurt people, saints and sand. I tested my fire starter ovary on a baby brown crab I found sauntering on the shore, Brownie. I pulled my underwear down and put his pie crust edges to my ovary, but he didn't set on fire. I was disappointed. I just torched a saint in a snap. What gives? Don't worry, Brownie, I cooed. I can burn you later in Aunt Kitty's pot. I was about to put him back in my underwear when Kitty rudely yanked him from my hands. What are you doing, putting a crab in your panties? It's fine, Auntie. I can't set him on fire yet. Just the lady with the cross. What are you talking about, lady with the cross? There's only us here. Her eyes quickly scanned the empty strand. St. Brigid. I turned her to ash. Let me see your eyes. She inspected my eyes, searching for strangeness. Give him back. Brownie should be up by Donegal. What have you done, girl? My stomach turned. What have I done? She pat Brownie like he was hers. Stop petting him. He's mine to burn. No burning. I'm throwing him back in the sea to swim north. Fire of rage burned my insides. When we got home, she took all the matchbooks out of the kitchen mess drawer and hid them. I don't need matches to start a fire, I thought. When I was putting Brownie down my pants, 9-year-old Femia was collecting a baby bouquet of 3 snow-white flowers, snowdrops, angelicas, and rowans, to stand them up in the wet sand, her earth vase. The petals stuck to her fingertips, and she looked like a bouquet herself. She asked me to pluck the petals of her purity bouquet. She lied down and guided my fingers to place the petals on her closed eyelids. The rowan first, then the angelica, then the snowdrop. It was her cleaning ceremony before she went to heaven someday. Okay, I'm starting it. Oh, Saint Ita, hailing from Waterford, please let me live a virgin my whole life. A virgin? Please let me live a virgin the rest of my life, just like you did. Please keep me clean from temptation, but not from the purest participles of your earth, sky, and sea. Particles, not participles. Particles. Okay, Ro, put the water by my hip and leave. I sprinkled some of the water over her. Grow, little Femia flower, grow. She screamed from her phony deathbed. Rasheen, leave the water and go! Auntie burst in. What's this? Spilled water and torn flowers? Femia sat up, and the petals fell to the floor. Ro ruined my cleansing. I'll never get to heaven now. I was gardening her, that's all. She sabotaged my ritual. Kitty knelt down. Femia, it's nice to practice for your heavenly transition, but this is too mythical. I was trying to be clean for Ita. You already are clean, love. You were baptized, dunked, and soul disinfected. Femia started sobbing. The mess of petals stuck to her tears. She was, as men say, hysterical. Kitty swept her up in her arms, rocked her on her couch, and angrily waved at me to leave. Slammed the door to my bedroom and tore out St. Ida's page in the Book of Saints. Shredded it into bits. I opened the window and the breeze of the Irish Sea snaked in. I got down on the ground and put my palms up in the air. Goddess Brigid, Saint Brigid, please let me stop being a virgin. I don't care about petals. I don't care about white as snow. Kitty burst in. Get up off the floor. Hold your hands. I'm talking to Brigid. She got in my face. Brigid is a saint, not a goddess. Say it. Brigid is a saint and a goddess, not a goddess. Is to sit up. She pulled me up onto the bed and sat next to me. I'm going to tell you a secret. Now, I don't like secrets as they brew bad tea in the soul, but your sister can't catch her breath. She needs help beyond what I or your mom can do. So I gotta tell you to make you stop. If you tell anyone what I'm going to tell you, a darkness will come upon your soul. A spider will spin venom in your heart. You understand? I nodded, desperate to hear the secret. She went to the window and looked out, the way a widow I once saw looked when she remembered her dead husband. When you think of Saint Brigid, you feel a good fire in your skin? I nodded. We could hear the faintness of the waves. She whispered, oh, Ro, then clasped my hands. I felt it too. For her, you see. Me too. You mustn't. I do, though. She won't burn back for you. She will. I saw her on the sea, too. Her milky everything. I wasn't much older than you are now. This age, most girls start wanting boys, but I just wanted to touch her. She glowed. She hasn't glowed for me yet. Don't wait for her to. That Brigid is a myth, a curse, a ghost. No, she's real. I got too close. I turned her to ice on that shore, and I never felt her again. Well, you must have done something wrong. Wanting her was wrong. Just like you wanting her is wrong. I'm not choosing to want her. I just do. How is that wrong? She hugged me close to her. It's misery, girl. She won't want you the way you want her, and you'll never want anyone else. Trust me. I hugged her back because now she was hysterical, as men say. She clutched me more tightly. Stop this now, or I'll pray that spider spins darkness in your heart. And Roro? Yeah? My prayers work. She sunk her nails into my back before releasing me. I gulped and fell even farther down a dark well of dread. I believed her.
All right. Oh my goodness. Incredible job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for conjuring all those characters.
Sorry, my Irish accent. I was like going to ask you to give me a little tutorial, but
oh, it was awesome. That was great.
Thanks.
Oh wow. That was yeah, it was so powerful to hear that for the first time.
Yeah. Well, I love the girls and the kitty character. I mean, I had an Aunt Kitty. I had a great Aunt Kitty, and
you did?
I feel like every Irish family has an Aunt Kitty.
That's true. I don't know. Maybe I knew that instinctively. I didn't know that. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna have Sabina join for reflection. So Sabina, come in whenever you are ready. So yeah, thank you for reading that.
What stuck out to you? I'm curious, like what Because we've been talking about like different ways to present this story, and you wrote it as prose, which is a new thing for you. How does it feel to hear your prose? And did you get any kind of sense of, I don't know, what medium? Did you get a different sense of a medium for the story?
Um, yes. Okay, wait. There's a notification on my camera. Does that mean Sabina's requesting to join?
Probably.
There she goes. Okay. Okay. Um, what medium?
Did you get
Let's
any?
see.
And we've talked about like cross
Yes,
mediums, but
cross mediums. Sabina! Hello!
Hello, keep
Um,
going. This is fascinating.
yes, I mean, it came to me as prose because I was channeling Mary Shelley. I actually loved it and I'm so honored that the incredible voice artist, audible artist, Kristin Condon, narrated it. If you guys don't know, Kristin has narrated a lot of books on Audible or books on, voiceover. Is it called voiceover or voice artist or narration? Narration.
Audiobook narration.
Audiobook narration. So check her out on Audible. So I was honored that you did that for us today.
It was so fun to do, I have to say. Like, you are really, as somebody who's read a lot of prose out loud into a microphone, it was really well done, and it's not easy to do. And I feel like the transition from like playwright to writing prose in that way is very helpful, because I cannot tell you how many books that I have read narrated where I've been like, oh man, this was never meant to be read out loud.
Wow.
These words are just like, yeah. So
wow. Well, it's just I love hearing the rhythm of, I feel like you really captured the rhythm of the dynamic between the women. And it's stuff that I've heard, in movies, in Irish plays, but just with me and my sisters as well. And then my thoughts, as I'm thinking about how I interact with my family, or how I interact with how this character interacts with their family. And, so I think the prose works in that way. And it is such a fantastical story in some ways. And it flashes back and it goes between ages, it goes between different times. And so I think the prose works that way. That's why we've talked about it being a podcast, or it being a full, like a podcast series, or being a full like narration of like a novella. So I love that aspect. I wonder how, I've tried to adapt it a little bit to theater already, and there's already, I'm not gonna lie, working narration into stage work is challenging for me. I've never done it before. I like things to be active on stage, but I love Roisin's voice. I love her inner voice. She's a bit more badass than I like to see, because she's an Irish American. So there's a lot of her in me, and there's a lot of you that I infused into her when I realized I was writing it for you. And then just, a little bit of Jessica Jones, a little bit of, some other people, other characters, from the 90s movies that I've loved. We talked about the 90s influence. So I just love her voice, kind of that disaffected, playful, but yearning for meaning voice, which is also a very 90s thing as well, right? The yearning for meaning amidst the void, or amidst a like a desperation for
the emo.
Any kind of power, emotional. Yeah. So anyways, okay. So Sabina, did you have responses or anything that stuck out to you? Or because this is the first time you've heard it as well.
Yeah, this is very exciting. I think it's very brave and wonderful that you were willing to share these new pages online. Any of us that know new work and the new work process know how tough it can be to hear out loud. And so I just think it's a wonderful thing that we're presenting this new work. And it just also made me reflect on our company and how each project we take on is its own medium.
Mm-hmm.
One of our first projects was an original play that you wrote based on the Grand Guignol you know, kind of shock and horror, awe genre.
Which was
Then
just
we moved on. It was
released as a movie,
just
which has
released as
been
a film. So we did the
Serpentine
stage
Pink.
version, Serpentine Pink, and now the film version. Then we ended up doing an opera based on Hecuba. So we dived into the Greek world and a whole different medium of avant-garde opera. This piece, I'm loving this idea. I'm an avid reader, so I just love hearing prose and knowing that we have in-house in our company our audiobook narrator goddess, Kristin. What a perfect pairing this project is, and how cool to be able to share it on this day.
Yeah.
We're in the midst of some incredible festivals right now. We're coming on Lunar New Year. Today is also, the day is yesterday, and after this are Burabecha New Year, which is also the Festival of Fire. So there's another theme there.
Fire theme.
Another fire theme, so that's great. And just quickly, because I know we're going to wrap up, I just wanted to let people know that going forward with our company, we have a two-hander coming up, not written in-house, that Kristin and I will be exploring, directed by Nathan. Two friends from high school meet at an AA group and see if they can actually remain anonymous. And then there's another piece that is an adaptation of Nikolai Gogol's story, The Nose, where a man wakes up to find his very important body part missing. And Megan has adapted this to a woman who wakes up to find a very important body part missing and goes on an adventure throughout Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is a huge character in this play. So we have an original piece coming up and a new play that we're working on to present as part of our company that's celebrating. We've been around for a decade. So
wow.
I'm just so excited that you guys shared this new work. I just want to hear more. I could sit and listen to it. I just want to know more. I want to hear more. I'm already attached to the characters.
Oh, awesome. Love it.
Thank everyone. Thank you so much for being here. For those who popped in and popped out,
thanks, guys.
This is just really nice opportunity. So thank you. And follow our Instagram, our company page, if you get a chance, by the soles of our feet, which is linked. We've been linking to a bunch of them. And
go ahead. No, does anybody have any questions about the piece?
Yes.
Or questions for Kristin or me? What I really wanted to explore on St. Brigid's Day and the kind of duality of Imbolc is the presence of the sacred and profane, as a Catholic person, Catholic raised person, writing about St. Brigid, a beloved saint in Ireland, is I'm not gonna lie, it's not, it makes me a little bit nervous because she's so beloved. I don't want to dishonor her, but at the same time there is this kind of very interesting aspect of the goddess part of Brigid, which is she was known as being a very sensual goddess. She was a warrior. She spoke her mind, and she's the goddess of healing and poetry, as well as the saint was as well. So she has the goddess of inspiration and power and everything. So I wanted to explore that duality, while also kind of challenging the tropes around who saints are supposed to be, and challenging the reverence around saints, but also honoring the presence of the goddess within certain saints, especially Saint Brigid.
That's what
what does that mean
about your writing, Megan? Is always the challenge of never one thing or just another. It's always silver or gray, like we say in Cinema of the Hecuba opera. It's so important,
Thanks. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask them we're going to post this reel to to my page, and then I think By the Soles of Our Feet can share it. And then we're also going to upload it to our new YouTube channel. And you can ask questions and just keep an ear out and an eye out for future iterations of the project. And anything else, guys?
I think that's.
Can I just I wanted to end it with a an Imbolc Brigid blessing, if that's okay. It's very short.
Sounds great.
But Kristin, I know there's some not confusion, but I guess it changes each year, like when Imbolc actually is, because I was just learning that in the pagan wheel, the pagan calendar, they actually measure nights instead of days. So time by night. So there's some difference between when it actually starts, but it's supposed to be, I guess in our realm, it's starting tonight or tomorrow. So okay, so this is one that I found that I really liked. Okay, winter into spring. Mighty Brigid, Brigid, keeper of the flame, blazing in the darkness of winter. O goddess, we honor you. Bringer of light, healer, exalted one. Bless us now, Hearth Mother, that we may be as fruitful as the soil itself, and our lives abundant and fertile.
Beautiful.
Happy St. Bridget's Day.
Happy St. Bridget's Day.
Thanks, everyone.
Let's get some funding and go to Ireland.
Get some funding and go to Ireland.
Yes.
Yes. The dream. Keep believing.
Thank you, everyone,
Okay.
for joining. Thank you both for sharing.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Megan.
Everyone.
Thank you, Sabina.